Hi there, so I launched the Pursuit Wargaming channel about 3 months ago, and I thought it was about time I did a channel update.
Well, it's about time.
So in today's update, I'm going to run through some of the types of videos I've done so far, like interviews.
So I'm kind of a niche within a niche.
Salute panels.
But if I wanted to put on Master Moore, I wouldn't do it in 28mm.
Behind the scenes.
So I'm going to use quartz to take the pressure off.
Favourite fives.
Which is one of my next projects to not get around to finishing.
And battle reports. The Crusaders have a couple of units of Teutonic Knights. These guys. Back in April I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to film the Salute panels for the South London Warlords. So, as I'm sure you all know, Salute is a huge wargaming show, and they have discussion panels each year. That's something they've started doing in the last few years. And this year I got the opportunity to film them. So that was a huge honour and privilege to do that, and I really enjoyed it. It was great fun. The South London Warlords are a great bunch of guys, and I really enjoyed working with them. I think we got some great footage from it. I think the discussion panels were lively and interesting and full of massive insight into the hobby. So I've also done a number of interviews. I started off with an interview about the morality of wargaming, or modern wargaming I should say, with Jonathan Brown, and that was hugely interesting for me anyway, at least, and I think for the audience as well. It seems to have got a lot of likes and a lot of interest, so do check that one out. Also, I spoke to Sarwat Chadha, a fantasy author and gamer, about how gaming influences his writing and all that sort of stuff, so that was another great interview. And more recently I spoke to Alex from Storm of Steel Wargaming, another YouTube channel which I'm sure if you're watching this you probably know his stuff, and he's a great guy, and it was great to see him. And going up and seeing him and talking to him, it gave me the idea for another sort of type of video that I want to do going forwards, but I'll circle around to that in a little bit. So I've also done a number of favourite 5 videos. Now favourite 5s are where I ask 5 standard questions plus a cheeky little bonus question at the end for where people can talk about whatever they want to talk about. But the 5 standard questions are, firstly, what's a favourite thing from your early days of wargaming? Then we go on to sort of say what's a favourite thing from your favourite period of wargaming. Then we take a bit of a left turn and we talk about what their favourite tool or accessory is. So of course we've all got our pile of shame or a lead mountain. So from that I ask what their favourite stall project is. And finally I just ask them what their latest project is that they're working on. I've also done a couple of battle reports, and with the battle reports I found it really tricky because initially I took all the footage and I really didn't know what to do with it. I kind of had cameras here, there and everywhere and wasn't sure what to do and how to stitch it all together. But what I ended up doing was focusing on the kind of the banter and the flow of the game. So so with the banter we kind of cut to the interaction between the players.
He gets a jack, so the bullet just whistles past him harmlessly. Okay. More time on the range and less guzzling sausage.
And then to get the flow of the game, I put in some animation with some narration over the top, which seemed to work well and seemed to give a good idea of what's going on. It's Alex's heavy cavalry to move. Then his bowmen fail to move, but they do pass their reroll. The bows shoot, they score 4 hits. The armour on Wayne's heavy had some comments about some sound effects that I put in that were maybe not so great, but hey, I'm living and learning, right? So that means that he's scored 1 kill. Now the one thing that was missing from these battle reports is the eye candy, you know, those beautiful close-ups of figures and all that sort of stuff. Some people call it eye candy, some people call it wargaming porn. When I mentioned this to Quiggers, he sent me this photo. Now I think we can all agree that's not really the sort of stuff that we want to be sort of having on this channel, so from now on I think we'll just call it eye candy. But what I do want to do is I do want to work that eye candy into the battle reports. So I've got another couple of battle reports coming up and I've got some ideas on how I'm going to do that. So watch this space to see what happens.
I'll be watching you.
And finally, recently I had the opportunity to go up to Pendraken and do a behind-the-scenes tour with them, and that was great fun. We saw their laser room. I've got to say, I'm a bit disappointed not to see, you know, some sort of Pink Floyd style laser show going on.
I think that's what people are expecting, or sharks with lasers.
Their moulding room, their casting room. it was really, really good fun. The shop, yeah, all sorts of things. And we even saw Dave cutting out a mould for us, which was great.
Got to cut runs in and also cut vents in to let the air escape as well.
And I'm hoping that I'm going to get the opportunity to do more behind the scenes videos. So if you own a wargaming company, you may just be getting a bell from me, seeing if I can do a behind the scenes with you.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
So what's next? As I said, when I went up to see Alex at Storm of Steel, I was talking to him about the types of videos that he does and all that sort of stuff. And one of the things that came out was that he does these hobby updates, which are really good, and it shows the progress of what he's working on and what's coming along. But I sort of thought, well, rather than do them the way that he does them, I thought I'd like to do something a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a go at taking a project from conception to completion and doing that as one video. So rather than showing sort of weekly updates or bi-weekly updates, I'm actually going to try and do a single video about a project.
What you talking about, Willis?
So the first project that I'm going to be touching on is actually going to be an English Civil War project. So I've sort of veered away from English Civil War for a number of years because, partly because of the number of figures that are involved, and although I've got big Napoleonic armies, I'm not really up for doing big games like that anymore. But also partly because when I did English Civil War, when I played English Civil War in the past using someone else's figures, the games seemed to be very, very long and very slow. You know, and I remember playing till 5 in the morning and just not really getting to a conclusion of the game. So I wasn't keen to repeat that, and I feel like my fingers were burned a little bit as far as English Civil War went. But I went to Devices and I saw Steve Jones there, and he had this really interesting English Civil War skirmish game. So I was thinking, oh, skirmish game, now that's fun, because there's obviously you only need a few figures. But the other thing that was great about his game was for the first game you needed a small number of figures, and then there was an escalation and campaign element to it. So each game fed on from the output of one game, essentially fed on to the input of the next game, but also your forces grew with each game that you played. So for me, getting into English Civil War, this is a great opportunity to start with a small force and then each game just grow it bigger and bigger. And who doesn't like a bit of megalomania, eh? After all, isn't that why we're all wargamers?
Yeah, baby, yeah!
So I've also had an idea for a terrain project as well, and this is something that's been kicking around in the back of my mind for a lot of years. And what I want to do is have a water feature like a bay or a harbour, so have some cliffs and a tavern on top of the cliffs. That's the loose idea in my mind, and again I want to take that through from the concept to the planning it to the final production of the thing. So again, hopefully that'll be coming in, well, that's probably going to take a while, so that's probably going to be, I don't know, 6 months to a year away, so that's going to be a good long burn on that one.
Well, you better get a move on.
But I think it'll be fun and interesting, hopefully, to film it at each stage as I go along, and then finally stitch it into a completed video at the end. Well, let's see, let's hope I get there. Fingers crossed, eh?
I hear a lot of talk.
So if you like the sound of the channel and the stuff that I've done and the stuff that I've got planned coming up, please do hit that subscribe button. I know it's cheesy and all the YouTubers kind of ask you to do that, but as a new channel, I've got to say it really means the world to me, and I really appreciate it when people do subscribe. And thank you if you do, and if you don't, I totally understand, it's not for you. We'll say no more about it. So now I just want to talk a little bit about why I started the channel. So this year I retired from a lifetime of computer programming, and I wanted to do something completely different, and this seemed quite different, although there are certain technical aspects to it, like the details of cameras and lighting and all that sort of stuff, which can be quite fun and quite interesting. But anyway, it's a different world and it's a different thing, and I'm using this a lot more than this, which is fun, different, for me anyway. Now originally I planned to launch the channel in the autumn, and I've got to say, for our colonial friends out there, autumn you'll know as fall, because obviously you don't speak proper English. I think we can all just accept that and move on.
Whatever.
But when I got the opportunity to do the Salute discussion panels, that was just too good to pass up. So I had to get on board and just felt like I had to get on board and do that and push that out, which I did, and I'm really pleased with how they came out. I think they came out quite well. Towards the end of the day, some of the cameras were starting to overheat and struggle a little bit, so there are the odd wobbly moments, but I think on the whole they were pretty good, and it came out quite nicely. I'm quite proud of it, given that it's the first thing like that I've ever shot. Shotten? What sort of English is that? And there I was complaining about the colonials.
He lost it!
Anyway, so Salute happened in April, and I wanted to have some stuff up on the channel before I went to Salute, so that I could start talking about Salute and let people know that I had something up. So basically I launched the channel a week before, had I think 3 videos up, and I've been going since then. So far the release schedule's been sort of intermittent and a bit willy-nilly, to be honest, but I'm trying to formalise it, maybe not the right word, but make it regular. And I'm going for a regular Friday 5 o'clock release time. That's what I'm going to try and commit to going forwards. Then if I have additional videos, then I might squeeze in an extra cheeky little something every now and again in addition to that, but Friday at 5 is what I'm working to sort of commit to, really.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So, if you like the cut of my jib and you think this is the channel for you, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, and good night.